Hey everybody, welcome back! Unboxing time! Yeah, that's right, the fine folks at Horror Pack have sent me the December box. Hence the Christmas tree. That's specifically, this is completely set dressing. I am that good of a YouTuber that we didn't even have a tree. Oh my God, I swear it's not green screened. It looked green screened. Anyways, let's talk about Horror Pack. That's a real tree, look, it's a real tree, okay? I don't know if that sold you here. Maybe. Oh, I just saw the cute kitty. It's a real tree there, all right? All right, so anyways, Horror Pack. And again, not sponsored, not paid for, but they are sending me the box for free because apparently they just enjoy my dumb videos. So I enjoy their service. So, of course, I'm a huge physical movie collector, and what Horror Pack is once a month, they're gonna send you 4 Blu Rays or DVDs that have been curated, and at least one of those is always going to be an exclusive limited edition you can only get with them, at least at the time of release. It's become a lot of more indie films lately that have been kind of hit or miss, but hey, I'll give any movie that's gotten released a chance, basically. And, you know, often I have a lot of these things, but sometimes they send me movies I've never owned or didn't know anything about, and I get to discover something awesome. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open this up. Oh, I'm not done telling you, I'm sorry, I'm almost through this wine. And we're about to go watch some Horror Pack stuff on Christmas. I lost my train of thought. So, I really lost my train of thought. It's like $20, $25 a month. Yeah, $24.99 a month for these 4, at least on Blu Ray. I don't know if DVD's cheaper. I have a link in the description below. But if you want to get like $3 off, I think it's $3. Yeah, $3 off your first subscription. They let me set up a code. They even let me pick the words. So the code is Bloody Butts, because why not? BLOODYBUTTS, all one word. Caps, I don't know if that matters. But use that at checkout. And you get this for free. And I'm holding it upside down because it has one of my home addresses on here, and I didn't want to you know, show that off. But anyways, we're gonna open this up. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna show you the boxes. We're gonna read the descriptions, and then I'm going to watch all of these and give you my thoughts on them, whether I've seen them before or not. And I almost always rope Mary into watching at least one of them with me, so you get her reviews as well. So once you open the box, you're gonna get it like that. Nice little bubble wrap mailer. And for those of you seeing how I do this, I do look just a little bit at the spines because they do number their limited editions, and I like that to be the last thing I pull out of the box. So I always want to make sure that I have the whole package oriented correctly. And there we go. Mary's baking.
Echo, stop.
She's baking delicious pumpkin loaf. It smells freaking amazing in here right now. All right, first, oh, right as you put that broom down, it made the sound of a light switch, and the tree did the thing where all the lights go off for a second. I was like, it's not even on a switch. Okay, first movie. Ooh, and you know what I'm gonna do? Okay, all right. Okay, I do own this, but Dr. Sleep, okay? This was great. This was an amazing prequel to The Shining. Ewan McGregor's great in this and everything. Here's the thing. I have the 4K version. I own the 4K. And it was weird because on the 4K, they also include the director's cut, but it's 1080 only anyways. I have not watched the director's cut, which I hear is even better. So, I'll be watching the director's cut of this, you know, and then that's the review I'm gonna give you, because that way it's still kind of new to me, and you know what, I'm really excited to rewatch this. And I don't have the Blu Ray, I have the 4K, so if I wanna keep a dual collection, I can. All right, so I kind of showing you the box. I think the one problem with this setup I have right here is the lighting is not great.
Echo, set time for 10 minutes.
And then show me the Dr. Sleep. Mary went to the theater for me with this, so if nothing else, this is something she could watch. So let's see what else we get. But first off, excuse me, scary and mesmerizing. Oh boy, it's really dark over here. No, because I haven't, I lit it for camera, not practicality. I got this, hang on. Old man. Oh, actually, it makes me look creepier. Actually, that kind of works. It's dual. All right. Still scared by the trauma he endured as a child at the Overlook Hotel, Dan Torrance faces the ghosts of the past when he meets Abra, a courageous teen who desperately needs his help and who possesses a powerful extrasensory ability called the Shine. Hush your mouth, boy, you want to get sued? Special features from Shining to Sleep. Author Stephen King and director, screenwriter Mike Flanagan look back on the original novel and classic film, discuss how they took on the sequel. The making of Dr. Sleep, a new vision, return to the Overlook, and of course it includes the director's cut. which is substantially longer. The theatrical is 152. The director's cut is 180. So there's almost a half an hour of extra and different stuff in here. So right off the bat, Merry freaking Christmas. By the way, you want to know another Christmas miracle? Walmart, they don't give a crap about street date. And I have 3 versions of Terrifier 2 on pre-order. I'm getting it early. I'm getting it before Christmas. Yeah. All right, next movie. The Lodge. I think we have this, but I haven't seen it. I know this cover really well. So anyways, at least it's another one I have not seen and should be of at least decent quality. So pretty excited about that. I'm almost positive. If I have seen it, it's one of those movies where you've seen it and then it doesn't land with you or stick with you, so you don't remember it all. I don't want to put the light up on me. That's right. Here's what we do. Okay. No, it's not really. It doesn't make a difference. All right. An atmospheric mind fuck, says Roger Ebert. Kind of like me.
So that's an older movie?
Well, Roger Ebert's still here. You're thinking of Gene. No, Roger Ebert isn't. It's an older movie. Anyways, I was looking for feedback on the joke of I'm an atmospheric mindfuck. All right. A bone-chilling nightmare from the directors of Good Night, Mommy. The Lodge follows a family who retreat to their remote winter cabin over the holidays when the father, Richard Armitage, is forced to abruptly depart for work. He leaves his children, Aiden, it's Jaden Martell, and Mia, Leah McHugh, in the care of his new girlfriend, Grace Riley Keogh. Isolated and alone, a blizzard traps them inside the lodge as terrifying events summon specters from Grace's dark past. Where is it? We got a runtime of an hour and 48 minutes. Oh, it's one of the new Hammer films, like when Hammer started trying to make stuff again. So I think are they still doing that? I don't know. Italian writers, that's neon. Rated R, cool. 2 movies. You know what? Do I have it? Let's play that game. I recently updated the My Movies Pro app. My Movies Pro 3, only to find out, here comes Pro 4. Stop it! Too much. The Lodge. Okay, we have 2 movies in our thing named The Lodge, and I don't think either one of these, actually that might be, that's an import. How did we, okay, hold on, let's go by director. That is not that one. We do not have that. Let me check the other version. Oh wait, if it's this version, I really wanted to see that. Dad gave that 3.5 out of 5 stars. For him, that's really solid. Oh, that's this version. Oh, cool. This is the version I vaguely remember a trailer for that. I really wanted to see that. Thank you, Horror Pack. Merry Christmas. We'll synchronize later. Stop asking me. All right. Skip under the exclusive, and we have... Now, of course I own these, but my excitement is that I have to rewatch these. My other excitement is Mary could watch both of these and enjoy them. And then my most excitement is it's not Christmas yet. And technically the first one is a Christmas movie. And even though we were gonna go watch one of the movies for review from last Horror Pack, now I'm like, and I have that on 4K.
Can I guess?
Yes, guess.
Gremlins? Or is it the first one?
Yes. It's Gremlins 1 and 2, dual pack, 5 movies for Christmas. Woo! I was looking for any kind of stuffed toy or anything to puppeteer. I cleaned up and put them all away. That's like way over there. Anyways, this is awesome. Especially if you don't own these movies, like what a great get in here. This has been an amazing horror pack thus far. But, so anyways, let's do this. Oh God, I need my light, don't I? Okay. When the rules are broken, mischief multiplies in Gremlins. 1 minute your hair will stand on end. The next you'll be laughing when these supposedly gentle furballs wreak havoc. The trouble gets doubled in Gremlins 2, the new batch, as Billy and Gizmo must face off against a new batch of gremlins who definitely think New York is their kind of town. Oh yeah, baby, where's my run times? Let me get my information. No special features on these, of course, because this is a 2-pack. You tend not to get anything special on there except the movies themselves. Sometimes you don't even get the run times. There we go. Gremlins is 106 minutes. Gremlins 2 is 107 minutes of awesome. I could probably like... Yeah, if you want to get a little bit better on some of these covers. You know what? While I have that light, let's... I don't know how well this is helping. I'm tempted to go back to doing much higher quality filming of these kind of videos because Horror Pack is fun. Hi, Jack. Hi, Chicky Jack. You helping Daddy? All right. Let's see what the last special is. Will Christmas be a total sweep of awesome? Maybe. This has potential. I don't know what this... Okay, 13 Sleighs Till Xmas, Horror Pack number 78. Good year. Oh my God. We have a Christmas miracle.
It's an actual back?
It's a really good design. Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. So, yeah. You know what? Kudos, Horror Pack. You got it. You got it. Anyways, let me show you. There's without a light. Let's give it a little light. So, yeah, and then there's the spine. And then look, you know I give them crap all the time. I love them, but I give them crap. But look, that is a fully fleshed out back design with reasonably high quality printing and photos, interesting text, credit block, all the information that should be on the back of one of these. That is awesome. I am so freaking proud of y'all. Good job. PJ Starks, wait a minute, I know her. Do I know her? That's, is that the local film people?
Yeah, confusing her with that other PJ chick from Rock and Roll High School.
No, that's PJ Souls. No, sorry, I'm just reading through here. I might vaguely know these people, or at least kind of run in the same circles. All right, so anyways, let's check this out. I'm excited. All right, from the creators of Volumes of Blood. These are some locals. These are, damn, this is knocking it out of the fucking park for me. From the creator of Volumes of Blood and the directors of Pool Party Massacre, The Conduit, Season's Greetings 2, Sleep Tight, Unlisted Owner, For We Are Many, 5 Wild Animals, VOB Horror Stories, After the Slasher, and Stranded. Whew, take a breath. On December 24th, 5 seemingly random men are invited to a dive bar by a mysterious email. They decide to pass the time by resurrecting the old tradition of telling scary stories on Christmas Eve. That's old tradition. Oh, sure, it should be. As each takes turn spinning yarns of Yuletide terror, it becomes evident they may be harboring a dark and deadly secret. The only film horror fans will need to watch this festive season, says David Gelmini of Dread Central. A ballroom blitz of Yuletide fright, says Joseph Perry of Gruesome Magazine. Directed or produced by PJ Starks and Eric Huskinson. Well, who's the director? Why is the director's not listed? Oh, there's a bunch of directors. So I think this is an anthology. Yeah, it's an anthology? That makes me happy too. Not rated, widescreen, 106 minutes, PCM stereo, but that's on the filmmakers. Damn, Horror Pack. Damn. Y'all knocked it out of the freaking park with December. All right, let's do this part where I watch these movies and I give you my reviews and show the trailers. Let's do that. Wow, where's the thing? Okay, so I just rewatched Dr. Sleep. I did do the director's cut because Mary and I saw the movie in theaters originally. Always wanted to see the director's cut. I haven't seen the movie since I saw it in theaters originally. So I can't really give you any kind of comparing and contrasting, although, we don't really do spoilers here, so I wouldn't. Anyways, first things first, I will say, I remember loving this movie in the theaters. I had a blast with it. I was in the mood for it. It was the right time. I had rewatched The Shining in 4K for the first time in a long time right before seeing it, and I thought it tied in really well. What recreations they had to do, they recreated, I thought, as best they possibly could. And I thought Ewan McGregor was fantastic. The young girl was great. The villain was great. Everything was great. Rewatching the director's cut, I still feel the same. It's incredibly intense. I don't know if I've tricked myself into thinking what I'm about to say, because I knew it was a director's cut watching it, and I had heard it was better, but I feel like it's a little better. I feel like it's a little... Not that anything I'm going to say positive for this, I don't necessarily feel negative about the other. I thought theatrical was great as is. I just think this is actually an improvement on an already great film. So I think, and I could be totally wrong, but it feels like the pacing is better. It feels things are slightly better explained. And even in the Stephen Kingness, it feels a bit more Stephen King. It feels like a novel, and I don't remember them doing book chapter titles in the theatrical, so I feel like that's an addition in the director's cut that I quite appreciated, because it is told as a story more like a novel than it is a film, and I appreciate that. We've started to see that in some other media occasionally, some other artworks, of filmmaking, and I appreciate that. I think it's a nice little different thing. I like all these characters. I like how it ties into The Shining. Up until maybe the last third, I was even thinking, you could really watch this without even having seen The Shining. Like, it works as a sequel, but you don't entirely need The Shining to appreciate it. Though I really think even then you still would appreciate it more by seeing The Shining, but after also seeing the entire film, I'm like, yeah, no, you do kind of really need to see The Shining, or some stuff's just not going to make a whole lot of sense. At least in the director's cut. Maybe some of that stuff was cut down, but like there's a certain scene in a bar, that's really, really interesting character-wise. I would be interested in a sequel to this, even with the way, I'm trying to dance around non-spoilers here, the way a certain character ends is a little interesting. Like, okay, that's what they're going to be doing. Okay, let's see 20 years later where that goes, So it kind of like this was, and I think it tied up, not that the Stanley Kubrick Shining had any kind of loose ends. It's a pretty damn pitch perfect film, but I guess there are questions that didn't really need to be answered per se, but this does answer some of those questions and complete certain character arcs in a really great way. So I'm sure a lot of that is based on Stephen King's novel, I assume. this is a pretty faithful adaptation, and he did a really good job. And I think our director, Mike Flanagan, I want to say, did a really good job on, recreating and tying it in and playing true to the book and the Kubrick version, because as we know, the Kubrick version is apparently notoriously different from the book. I've seen videos about it. I watched the Shining mini-series that's more faithful to the original Shining book, back when I was watching all this stuff before, and I can definitely see the differences, and I recall from the theatrical experience how well it really paid homage to both of those things very well. But of course, in the cultural zeitgeist, at least of film, your general film audience tends to be a little more familiar with the Kubrick Shining than the actual King Shining. And that's not a knock on anybody, because they're all great and there's room for all of it. It's like my take on remakes. Like, I love theater, and theater rarely, or at least any kind of mainstream, well-produced production, or well-funded production. Like if you have local theater, you're going to have a bunch of theaters that are, constantly putting on shows and they can pay their actors and blah, blah. There's not a lot of new stuff that comes out in that. It is constant remakes, essentially. And I don't mind it. It's fun to see different directors and actors and costume designers and set designers and lighting designers and film cinematographers, editors, composers. There are different takes on material. Whether it's better or worse, I'm like, yeah, remake everything, man. It doesn't get rid of the original. The only time it gets rid of the original, I'm tangenting, I know. The only time it gets rid of the original is there was an era when, even though, love or hate the Rob Zombie films, I was mildly mad at them, because it's like, he went in the opposite direction of what I loved about Michael Myers, and at the time, it's like, well, we'll never get that. But now we live in a world where that's not even true. You can remake something, it can be successful, you can do its own series of that, and then they fail, and eventually there's a chance of someone coming back. And now with multiversal comic book stuff, I think companies, because the audience is getting smarter and more able to comprehend the idea of different versions of a universe, for lack of a better term right now, that, you can run multiple timelines. So remake everything, give everything a shot. And this wasn't a remake. I don't know how I got on that tangent. It's late, and I'm going to watch one more, because I'm going to finish this horror pack, because I feel awful that I've taken so long, and we're going to start powering through these so I can get you out a couple of months to get back onto being more current, because as nice as they are to send these to me, I should do them the courtesy of at least watching these movies. Time got away from me. I barely get to watch movies at home anymore, but I'm making that work, because movies are awesome. And this was awesome. And if you didn't know, The Shining, Dr. Sleep, fantastic sequel. Probably the best sequel you could do to The Shining. I don't know that you could really come up with a better concept or what they do with it. And if you didn't know, there is a director's cut that is 30 minutes longer. So it's substantial, even though, you know, unless I back-to-back them, I'm not seeing what the difference is other than it just feels more fulfilling. Love it. Excited to watch it again. I was holding out to watch it with Mary, but I ran out of time. I was like, I just gotta watch it. I just gotta watch it. Because she dug this one too. But hey, you get a couple of Marys in this one, so. All right, I'm off to watch the limited edition one in this pack. So let's talk about more movies. All right, horror pack. It's after Christmas now because we forgot to film the review. We had some drinks and we watched Gremlins, and it was awesome. You will feed me whenever I want. So what are you telling me? Anyways, Gremlins. As awesome as I remember. Definitely a Christmas movie. Did you see Joe Begos' Christmas Bloody Christmas? I'm sure that was the look he was going for, because cinematography, lighting, set design, that's what Christmas Bloody Christmas looks like, but more, you know, punk rock, Terminator, robot, Santa. But
I had seen Gremlins, but it's been a very, 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 very long time, and I had forgotten a lot of stuff.
There's a few things, and I forgot how quickly it moves. Like, the pacing on that movie is fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah. We looked up to see who did the puppets.
Well, because again, and Mary's not alone, but she was like, was this Henson? But apparently, a lot of people have that question, because it was not Henson. They wanted Henson, but he was like the only puppeteer company around at the time that was worth a damn. So they had to like kind of learn how to do it themselves. They hired somebody else and they had to learn how to do it, and you know, and it feels every bit as good as a Jim Henson production.
Because I mean, they had to make how many dozen of those things? Because like just like that theater scene alone.
Well, not even just that, like even iterations of Gizmo from like,
yeah.
You know, or even like Spike riding a tricycle, or Gizmo driving a car, or you know, like.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane. Also, I forget how derpy occasionally Gizmo is in the first one. I think they made him pure cuteness in part 2. We haven't watched part 2 yet. But
I mean, he is basically a toddler.
Oh yeah, but I mean, there's specific faces they gave him. You know Aaron Stankface? I forgot how much he has Aaron Stankface in this, where he's like, oh, what's going on, Billy? I mean, he doesn't talk, obviously. And I mean,
he does.
Well, okay, yeah, fair. I mean, he doesn't talk like that. Super young Corey Feldman. I hadn't really forgot Corey Feldman. I think you had, because I feel like you watched it and you're like, oh yeah.
There's a good possibility that I didn't really know who Corey Feldman was at the time I watched it.
So you didn't grow up with a crush on the core boys like me?
No. No, I didn't really become aware of them until way after the fact, I don't think.
Oh, wow. I, of course, grew up with, like, Goonies and Lost Boys and License to Drive, and my favorite, Dream a Little Dream. That's super fucking underrated movie. I mean, I haven't seen it in a few years. Maybe it doesn't hold up. It holds up. Who am I kidding? I mean, you get Corey Feldman doing his full-on Michael Jackson dance and dress up and all that stuff. You got the amazing Mel Torme version of the song, and then you get like this amazing cover of the song. You get, was it Richard Marx maybe, who did Hey Kids, Rock and Roll, Rock On, Ooh, their soul, something like that. Great fucking soundtrack.
I've never seen that movie.
So, wow, okay, hold on. We have to take a side note here. Maybe you haven't heard this either. So Dream a Little Dream is peak Corey's time, right? Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. They're just these, like, cool California kids going to college or whatever. And, was it Corey Feldman? Oh my God, I'm blanking on which one did this happen to. It has been a while, apparently. One of them...
The one that's still alive, or the...
I don't know, but let's not go into that, because Corey Haim is awesome, and I have personal connections through friends of, like, a friend of mine was married to him for a while. Tiffany Shepard's Scream Queen was a wife of his. Anyways, and plus we don't knock the Coreys, because listen, Feldman's a little, but
I wasn't knocking the Coreys. It's how I tend to tell them apart.
Okay, fair enough. It just sounded a little dark. Anyways, so honestly, it's so weird that I can't remember. I forgot this is a Gremlins review, by the way.
Let's go. Maybe we should go back to that.
Well, the basic premise, and sorry I can't remember one of them. Basically, there's this whole thing where this like old man doesn't want the kids on his lawn, but they cut through there for school, and the kids are kind of cool, but they're also kind of kids, so you know they're a little annoying. And like they bump into each other, whatever. It's a body swap movie. Old man in kid body goes to school. Kid in old man body has to learn how like, oh, this is what actually matters in life. Blah blah blah. Great soundtrack.
Okay.
Cool fucking movie. Romantic. I don't know. I need to see it again. I also need to rewatch Pump Up the Volume. And I need to rewatch. Oh, hold on. I'm okay. So Gremlins.
Yes, Gremlins.
That fucking song. I love it so much. Science. Yeah, there's chicanery. Oh, Dick Miller. It's got Dick fucking Miller, who's amazing. And I love
The Snowfall guy.
Yeah, and I love his fucking monologue about like gremlins. They get in the planes, they get in the trains, they get in the blah blah, which is totally, if you did not know, a direct reference to his episode he was on of the original Twilight Zone. Which is about gremlins in the machinery. So like seriously, chef's kiss, Joe Dante. This is Steven Spielberg and Joe Dante and Robert Zemeckis at like all at their like peak fucking timing, and like it's PG-13, but it feels just naughty enough, and there's some grossness in there, like the multiplication of the gremlins and all of that, and the characterization they give to them. I know they go way crazier in part 2. I'm excited to rewatch part 2.
Yeah.
And Zach Galifianakis.
Might remember parts of 2 more. But,
Okay.
I'm
excited for part 2.
I just had thought where to go to. Shit.
Wait, did I call him? I called him Zach Galifianakis. Zach Gilligan.
Oh, I remember.
Pardon me. Very different people.
It always amazes me when
It's called a mogwai. It's a man person. Sorry.
Are you done?
I call him Zach Galifianakis.
I know.
It's almost as bad as when I, to his face, called Jonah Ray Jonah Hill, but that's on camera on the internet.
Okay, so I'm always amazed when I have to explain to people what a gremlin is. Because they have no idea what even the concept of like the original, World War II
That is strange.
critters and machinery.
Yeah, that is strange.
I'm like, especially because Gremlins was a pretty well-received movie. If I remember
I
correctly.
think it was 1984, right? It's like the year of the greatness. But yeah, I mean, I remember it being critically well. Maybe it wasn't critically well received. I don't know. Horror stuff in the 80s was never critically well received.
Yeah, but this is more camp than horror.
Yeah, but even that was not loved in the 80s by like anybody.
Yeah.
Was the original Gremlins critically well received? Now we play Eric is wrong. In 1984, that was the important part. It was a commercial success, however, it was heavily criticized. Come on, Wikipedia. Excuse me. Oh, fucking Chris Columbus wrote this, by the way.
Yep.
Motherfucker. Oh, and Howie Mandel. Mogwai. Maybe Robert Zemeckis wasn't involved, but hold on, let's see. Directed by Joe Dante, written by Chris Columbus, produced Michael Fenton, star. There's more producers on it than that. Was Jerry Goldsmith did the music. No, Amblin Entertainment. That's where I'm thinking Spielberg and Zemeckis. Here we go. It was heavily criticized for some of its more violent sequences. Have you motherfuckers seen Terrifier 2?
In 1984, no.
No, they hadn't. Dude, if that movie had come out in 1984, whoo! Gremlins. Okay, yeah, we got, because I just realized this video can't be that long. I'll have to make a new music bed. This is not our vloggy shit. This is our horror pack shit. And, thank you for letting us rewatch Gremlins, giving us a reason to rewatch Gremlins. We watched it in 4K. Use the disc. Use it through the PS5 because one of the cables in the 4K Blu Ray are chained through our projector is fucked. So we were able to watch Gremlins on a 125-inch screen in 4K, 7.2 surround. I mean, I don't know if it had 7.2, but that's just our setup. It was great. And you enjoyed it?
Yes.
You excited for part 2?
Yes.
Mogwai! Oh!
That's like the TV studio one.
That's one of the things in it.
With a much more glam grilled gremlin.
That's definitely one of the things in it. NECA made the figure.
I think that's... And Rambo... Gizmo.
That's definitely in it. That was in the trailer. And I'm wanting to mention all the other things, but I'm like, no. She doesn't remember. Let it be a, oh, as we watch it kind of thing. Because there's a lot in Gremlins too. All right, so that was awesome. That was a good time. Also, I really think this needs to be in the same universe as Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, I can see that.
And now what I need is a crossover where Jack Burton fights Gremlins. And on that note, on to Gremlins 2. Sorry, Horror Pack, we're falling way behind. I'm trying to get back on these, but I finally got her to watch Gremlins 2 with me, the new batch.
Yeah.
First time in many, many years. I always really liked this one. I think I like it. I don't want to say I like it less now. It's just my memory of what I love about it and the charm of it. It's not holding up as well for me. Still very much enjoyed it.
It has been so freaking long since I'd watched Gremlins or Gremlins 2 that there were large swaths that I had completely forgotten.
And you are referring to the fact pre-watching the original Gremlins a few months ago. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I was just like, I kind of sort of remembered a couple of things from Gremlins 2, but not really. Honestly, I think I like... Hi.
Framing. There we go.
I think I like 2 better.
Well, I think I love you. I better.
Mostly because it's so fucking goofy.
2 is a lot more goofy. I think that's what it is.
And I like that they start experimenting with different types of gremlins.
Yeah, I think all that stuff is really good. I just think the first one is more of a solid movie. Like a solid story, a solid, kind of the whole thing unfolds and...
I think it's a horror comedy, but it leans a little more towards the horror.
And this one definitely leans all into the comedy.
Yeah.
There's nothing scary in there except maybe the spider gremlin.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's only if you're scared of spiders.
Yeah, well, this is also the horny gremlins, too.
Yeah. My running joke while we were watching this was with the female gremlin. It's like, oh, there's Tucker Carlson's favorite character.
I mean, normally we don't talk about stuff like that, but again, I don't think it matters whose side you're on. I think you would appreciate that joke. That's why I thought it's like, ooh, should I cut that out? Because it's but no, we're leaving that in. Dude wants to fuck a green M&M. I mean, come on. Just no, we don't do politics here. Leave that shit at your door. We're just making fun of. We're making fun of a weird man's weird taste. All right.
We had lots of great actors.
We're kink shaming, which we shouldn't. Yeah, Christopher Lee brought way more in this than he needed to. He was so good in that role.
And the guy who plays the holographic doctor on Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Trek.
Yeah.
Robert something probably. I feel like half the people on Star Trek are named Robert something. So
he was great as
the sleazy lawyer,
right hand man.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't really lawyer type. Yeah, you're right. Not Grandpa Munster was really fun in this too. I like that they have a little horror host thing going on. Yeah, all the mutation stuff, you're right, was really fun. Oh, the twins that they used, who was like the security guy from Terminator 2. And then actually both twins were in there because if you remember, he goes to get a cup of coffee and the T-1000 zoops up behind him and he's like already looking like the guy. That's why they cast those two, because they were twins, so they didn't have to VFX it. So I always thought that was kind of fun. There's a lot of Terminator 2 going around. I guess the other thing was in the other thing we were talking about, but
yeah, and they were. I said those were good. The guy, the CEO Clamp.
Oh yeah.
He was. I feel like that was like Elon Musk before Elon Musk, just a little bit.
No, this guy's way cooler than Elon Musk could ever think he was. Elon is more of the modern billionaire that are just complete self-serving idiots. This guy, you felt like he's a bit of an idiot and he will self-serve, but he does actually have a bit of a conscience.
That's true.
You didn't hate him. Like, you could be like, oh, he's probably annoying, he's probably hard to work with at times. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you were valid about, we should take care of those people, or, let's not screw those people over. Like, he's actually kind of charming for that type of character, which is why I find him to be very unrealistic.
Yeah.
Especially because they're definitely trying to give him a bit of a Trump vibe. And I'm not being political, I'm just talking about the business side of that. Now, that's a man who's an idiot. You know what, maybe I shouldn't. No, who cares? It's in there now. I'm talking about business. We aren't getting into politics. All right, listen, how many bankruptcy? Anyways.
Now, how do you feel about the girlfriend Or fiance.
Phoebe Cates, I think she was less interesting in this one. Although I do like she had the gag about like she has some other horrible story of her childhood that he's like, honey, sweetie, we don't have time for this. As if like she has 100,000 of those stories.
Yeah. It's not like she was okay, but
she wasn't terrible, yeah.
I just it's one of those things. It's like maybe it's just the material that she was given. I
think that's the case for sure.
Oh god, that haircut did not work for her.
No. I do like the Billy's boss. She was interesting.
Oh yeah.
So that was kind of fun. That she's all being seductive, and he's like,
well. So she was working on her Jessica Rabbit impersonation.
She could pull it off too, because I'm pretty sure I had a crush on her. But
I'm pretty sure you weren't the only one.
No, I'm pretty sure it was by design. Now, something I really don't remember though from watching this movie so many times, and it's really sad, is that the old Asian man, because I was gonna say Chinese, but I'm not entirely.
Something Watanabe, I think.
Yeah, so maybe Japanese. But anyways, the Asian character, he died. I never really picked up on that as a kid. That's how they got the shop. That's how they were able to build the thing, was they kept waiting for him. He wouldn't sign the papers so that they could buy him out.
The
shop owner.
Okay, I was thinking the cameraman.
Oh no, not
There's
the cameraman.
There's 2 Asian people in this room.
Well, I meant like the more stereotype, the one that has the shop in the beginning. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about the cameraman. I would have made more of a joke about Data grew up, but
yeah,
and not the android, the short round, Ki Kwan. But he was cute too, even though he is definitely an over the top goof.
Yeah.
But I thought that was always sad that the shop owner guy died at the beginning. Like, I only now on this viewing really registered that. I don't think I ever really registered that before, because I was just ready for the movie to get going or something. It's like, oh, that's kind of a sad way to start it off.
But it explains
how Gizmo comes into this thing and how, yeah.
Although I'm surprised it's like, oh, nobody took anything out of the shop before they started demolishing.
Yeah, I know. That seems a little whoops. Like, oh no, his grandson was sleeping in the back room. So all that was fun, and it's fine. It's fine. It's a good movie. I don't hate it. I'll watch it again, but I didn't like it as much as I remember liking it, and I personally still think I prefer the first one.
I think I kind of like the second one better.
And that's fair enough. You might get Marion one more of the reviews on this today. I'm still trying to get through December. We will get through these. We will get through these. We will get through these somewhat together, not all the time. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next movie. And finally, got around to seeing The Lodge. I have wanted to see this for a while. I'm going to have to step around spoilers here because I really kind of want to talk spoilers because there's things I really like specifically about this movie. And I think they did a pretty good balance of it. If you haven't seen this, I think it's pretty awesome. It's like 2019. We probably talked about it earlier in the video. I'm going to sneeze. It'd be funny if I'm cutting the trailer in right now and somehow my sneezes are working with the visuals. Anyways, so I saw this trailer a while back and I feel like, and this might be super vague, spoilery, super vague, like only spoilery if you've seen something else that I'm about to refer to. Not movie-wise, but if you've seen my trailer reaction to this trailer, what I might say might be vaguely spoilery, but I feel like in that trailer reaction, I kind of suggested or called what I'd like to have happen in here, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that there's a version of that in here, and I really did appreciate it. I think the performances are great, the tone is really nice. It's definitely a quiet movie, so, don't be sleepy. And, but it does a really good job with the tone, and even though, because I had a certain prediction, and I saw something early that made me think that was going to be the case, and I was excited about it, it still, even after that, had moments where it made me doubt myself and question my prediction. So I appreciate that, but it became fairly clear midway through the movie that certain parts of my prediction were going to be right, and it works though. And it's a very different kind of film. Like on paper, on trailers, it looks like something maybe you've seen before, maybe something fairly typical, but I do think it has a very uncommon story concept and trope going on here. It's not really, it wouldn't be a trope if it's uncommon, but I mean, maybe it's been done once or twice in the annals of filmmaking, but it's certainly not something super common or often if this kind of thing happens. And the best thing about it, and I'm gonna think, let me think this out if I can say this without spoiling anything. You're gonna care about different people throughout this in different ways. I'm gonna go ahead and say I think from the start throughout that the dad is awful in this. He's not like the worst dad. There's plenty worse dads, but it's like, man, you're a real selfish prick. You know, but there's also moments in this that give me just hints, because I've recently become a huge fan of Ari Aster, and there's a little bit of Hereditary in this, just a touch. It's not the same movie by any means, but tonally, it's a little got of that. It's got a little of that, but also there's like kind of the dollhouse thing, which is more prominent in Hereditary, but they do a little bit more of what I expected in that movie here with it, where pay attention to the dollhouse stuff. It's important and interesting. There's also like this little creepy bug thing that's like, I don't know, is that a sea monkey? I think it's a silverfish. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments, but you know, that kind of stuff really creeps me out too. Especially when I think about eating shrimp, because I'm like, you know, those bugs are basically the shrimp of the sea. But I did really like it. It might be a little overlong. I do feel like there's a spot or two where maybe it drags just a tiny bit more than it should. Just a tiny bit. It's nothing terrible, nothing egregious. But and you know, again, it is a very quiet film, so you definitely got to be prepared for that. And then like wild swings of volume levels if you're like watching late night in volume. I wasn't. I was in a good place where I could really just crank it and let it go. But it'll make you cold. The snow setting is interesting. I guess there is a little bit, and I think this really comes from the premise. So I'm trying to figure out how much I can tell you here without telling you anything. But there's a certain, and this comes up very early, so I'm not really ruining anything. But one of the many aspects of this story, and a very small sliver of it, is there is this history of being part of a cult. And maybe that could have played into it. It plays into it, but I'm not going to tell you how much. But for me, maybe because I love cultist kind of films, I don't think there's enough cultist kind of films. Maybe I could have used a little bit more, because again, I'm on the fence with this in terms of how much I really loved it. Like, I loved it. I think it's very solid. But is it like an 8 out of 10 for me or a 9 out of 10? You know, that kind of thing. Again, I don't want to give numbers. I'm not here to review it because it's so subjective. But for me, I mean, maybe it goes more towards that 8-ish side. And even those numbers may not be accurate. I'm just trying to use some kind of system of explaining my thoughts here. But like, because I feel there's spots in here that it could have gone a little bit more into whatever it did in every aspect, but it wasn't underwhelming. Like, it really did do enough of all those spots to really sell. And Alicia Silverstone is pretty awesome in here. It's certainly a movie that, if you know, going back, rewatching might be kind of interesting. But at the same time, since I kind of figured what was going on, I was looking for how that would work. And even there, I'm still kind of questioning some things, but kind of works. So, but I do think it's really cool when you always have one of those movies that makes you want to go back and watch it again and figure out what you actually think about it. But anyways, I'm glad I finally got around to watching this. It's very cool. I will say, random, I don't think this has anything to do with Horror Pack as far as I know, but well, there's a reason. I'm pretty sure it's also not them, but it says Blu Ray and digital code. There was no digital code in this, but it did look authentically originally sealed. However, I went looking for my digital copy or my digital code because I know we already own this movie because my pops watched it and gave it a 3.5 out of 5, which is very good for him. He almost never gives anything a 5. Anything hits a 4 out of 5, it's going to be one of his favorites. Just to give you an idea. So 3.5 out of 5 is great, but we didn't have a digital code, and I'm like, well, so I don't know if this is just a misprint on all of them or what, but I find that very interesting. Anyways, that's my thought on The Lodge. Again, sorry, Horror Pack. I'm going to be powering through a couple of boxes trying to get caught up here because I can't believe April's almost over and I'm just finishing up the December box. As a matter of fact, I'm off to try and watch the other movies tonight. We got to get this puppy out. I want to open up January and see what's next. All right, but again, thank you. All right, that's my thought on The Lodge. Comment what yours are. Ooh, next movie.
All right, and finally, I watched 13 Slays Till Xmas, Christmas. I have a lot to say about this. It's late. I can't be too loud, but I have a lot to say about this because I have a lot of personal connections in this, more than I knew. First and foremost, we have the horror pack version. Turns out I did actually already own this movie. I bought it at a convention. I bought a bunch of movies from this company and PJ Sparks, who I've known about for a long time because this is set in Kentucky, and I'm in Kentucky. It's very much clear it's in Owensboro, Kentucky. I'm Lexington, but whatever. The other thing I want to talk about the DVD real quick. This version, though, basically has the same background. Look around where my finger is, you'll see what I'm going to show you the difference. This is the version I own. Ton of special features listed, but otherwise same back, right? That's the one from the box. This has all those special features. I don't know why they didn't. Not sure why that was made. Weird change. Okay, that said, the movie itself, it's independent. It's very low budget. It's being someone, again, not even because I know these people and have literally worked with some of these people in this exact budget-ish level. And by no means, if I at all sound like I'm trying to come across up here or anything, I'm not. We all have our things, good and bad, but you know what I'm saying. But the movie, it's okay. I think my biggest problem with, like, you know, production-wise and everything, I've seen a lot worse. I've seen a lot better. I mean, you know, for what budget they're at, it's cool, it's fine. It's not perfect. Some things could be better here and there. But it is what it is for what we're doing. And it's a good time. I don't regret watching it. I had a good time with it. Now, I'm a little biased because of something to talk about here in a second. But as far as the movie itself, I think the thing that really stood out to me most is through the beginning third, 2/3 especially, I wasn't terribly engaged. I love this idea of it being kind of an anthology Christmas thing. Kind of like we're going to sit around the fire and tell ghost stories. And there are things that work about the wraparound overall structure. There are things that don't. Each person basically tells 2 stories. And it's weird that they each still tell one and then they'll come back to the bar. I almost feel like it would feel better if it was 1-on-1, but that's a personal taste, I guess. But it's not that. I think what I figured out is what wasn't really working for me early is that it's like sketch comedy, but it's not trying to be comedy, so there's not really punchlines, or it's not trying to be funny. Like, it's not that it, like, they tried to be funny and I didn't think it was funny because it wasn't the comedy I like. It's that same sort of sense of they're doing these little vignettes that are more like sketches, but they don't always land, and they're not always that great. There's not a lot of interesting things in there to make them work on that shorter scale. Like, and I don't have time to get into the characters of the story or what's going on. And you know, they don't have to be that long, but if they were 3 minutes long, they should have been 6 minutes long. If they were 6 minutes, they should have been 12. It just felt. But as we get to the back end, the last third or so, you know, a few of the stories start taking a little bit longer. They get a lot more interesting, and there's some things that get very close to being really good. So, you know, again, keep doing it. I think this is what, 2020, and I know PJ Sparks has been making stuff forever now, and is like legit in his budget range local scene. Is that fair? Again, I'm absolutely on board. Like, I'll tell you to your face, tell you, you know, saying behind they'll ever see this. I mean, it could get back to them. You know, people that are legit friends. But you know, like, I'm not trying to be negative at all. I'm just my experience with it is what it is. But that said, okay, I have some stories to tell. This is going to go long. I kind of knew somebody very important in my life was involved in this, and I didn't know how involved. So I'll try to tell this story quickly because I think it's cute. It's something you'll actually care about. It's going to make this horror pack really worth watching, and why it's cool they gave this movie. And this is probably the biggest one of all the things I'm going to say, but Julie Strebel, she co-wrote, co-directed a short in this and starred in it. She was in the very first short. The one, I mean, not terribly spoilery, but the one that was about, like, suicide, kind of, you know. Well, I don't even know how to tell it. I can't say without spoiling. But she was there. You know, figured out. Go look up TheEricButts Free Fall. It's a short film I made. This is the point. It's a short film I made because I was submitting for Project Greenlight. Did a whole thing, 3 weeks. It was crazy. But I ended up working with Julie because I knew about her from just people I knew locally. And she was the star of my short. And it was the first time I had worked with somebody from the theater field, live theater, versus having always worked with local film people. For better or worse, I'm using that as a quote, for better or worse, the whole, because the point is, what I found, and this is not to say this about all actors, and I'll tell you why it's going to come around to, but a lot of times, at least for the era I was dealing with film people, actors, a lot of them fucking great, talented, really cared. A lot of them, nah. Yeah, they either had the passion, no talent, or, you know, or they were in it for the wrong reasons. And there's a billion things. But like I said, I'm not calling anybody specific, and again, not at all trying to make myself superior. I'm sure I've got my things. I don't know. I'm sure. But anyways, point is, I worked with Julie. First time I worked with an actor from the theater, and I was blown away by the fact she gave a shit about her character, her performance, and like really worked in it. So, long story short, too late. Because that was the first time, I wanted to keep making shorts. I wanted to keep doing things, getting back into film. So I started looking to my friends and being like, hey, I want to meet more theater people and actors from that. My buddy Jerry Williams made Zeppo, Goat Boy Films, since we are talking about this local circle here. I'm losing my train of thought. It is late. I've been drinking. He told me about this local murder mystery dinner theater at a great restaurant, and it was a Doctor Who murder mystery dinner theater I was in. He told me my buddy Tom Phillips, who I'd worked with, again, great local actor, who I'd worked with in a Girl Scene, which we'll get to. Oh my God, I really gotta go faster. He was gonna play the 10th Doctor, perfect casting. Went, saw it. Long story short, the first actor that interacted with us was this beautiful woman playing a version of Clara, who I had a crush on, Jenna Coleman, and I immediately thought she was the killer. So play happened. She was not the killer. Turns out this is Mary we're talking about, my wife, in case you didn't know. So because of working with Julie, I met my wife. Like, that's how I always picture Julie, and like I love Julie. Like, Julie and I, we clicked, we got along, we were tight. Like, it was really cool hanging. Well, I wouldn't say tight. Like, we lived in she was in Louisville, I was in Lexington, so it was a distance. It's not like we were hanging out all the time, but we were at parties and shit. We'd hang out and be like, fuck yeah. But just I'll always think of her as like, thank you for being in that short and having that effect on me you had as an actor and a professional, because damn. Met Mary. Okay, so let's move on. Jesus. Okay, so I kind of knew that one. That's the big one. So we'll get a little bit shorter here. There's at least two more. I think I know a few people in this movie, but let's just talk about these two others because I know they're very big. Amazed to find Katie Stewart as the bartender in the wraparound scenes. I did this web series, Girl Scene. I did the original first award-winning season. It was very sexually charged. It was very sexy, but it was still also I personal tastes, because I don't want to, the people that came on after me are amazing, but I thought I had the best season, in terms of the materials I got to work with and the people I got to work with, and we did something a little bit more dramatic than what I think it personally turned into. So personal tastes, okay, which. And that's a whole other thing, because then Nick Brown, The Mutant Family, Loss Prevention, which Katie is in, that's a whole other thing. But so Katie, I had the absolute pleasure of directing her and working with her. I even got to share a scene with her in Girl, because I was an actor in a few of the scenes. I played a douchey director, go figure. But Katie was amazing. She was such an amazing professional and just always great. Everything she gave was great, and I saw that in this movie. No offense to any other actors in her scenes, but she shined above all of them. Again, she's beautifully shot and lit. Sometimes the coverage and or editing, when maybe it's a budgetary thing, so I'm not being shitty, but maybe I feel like it didn't show, like, I just felt her performance was there. And again, maybe some bias. And again, I know it's all women, but it's odd because it's all pretty much people involved in this. The big surprise for me is another amazing lady friend awesomeness, Ronnie Jonah, rock star motherfucking Ronnie Jonah. I was at so many parties with her back in the day, and I'll keep it about her. Let's not throw out names or anything, but she was always the fucking coolest. Like, Ronnie and I always get along, and there's been a period where we weren't really talking or hanging out, and that was on me. Like, I wasn't hanging in that same circle for a while. I'm not thinking I'm better than anybody or anything. I kind of, this is around the time I met Mary, and I just didn't want to do anything except spend all my time with Mary. Let's not get too gushy. I was about to get really gushy about Mary, but it's all on me. And then, after being with somebody long enough, it was easier to be like, okay, I'm gonna go back out, hang out, spend more time with my friends. It's all on me. Anyways, let's not go. It's too much. It sounds like I'm okay. But it was awesome seeing Ronnie in there. Okay, is that everything? Oh, no. And then there was one other really, really tiny to me and tiny in relation to the film, but possibly the biggest success of anybody in this movie. I don't know, that's a wide generalization. I don't mean anything by that. But there is a small little cameo by Kentucky awesome, successful native Jeffrey Reddick, who I have had the pleasure of talking with a few times. He is the gentleman who wrote the original Final Destination. He wrote Tamara. I think it's The Last Wish or The Last Call, something fairly recently. Legit guy. So it was really cool seeing him be one of the news reporters. Okay, I should really end this review. I know it was barely about the movie, but I mean, hey, cool pick. Drunken, hanging out with buddies and friends could be a really good time. It's not gonna be for everybody, but that's how those roll. Anyways, thank you, Horror Pack. I need to get to the January, February box ASAP. I'm gonna work on it.
And there we go. So, what's gonna be the best of these Gremlins? Gremlins 2? Maybe the Dr. Sleep director's cut. But I also think The Lodge is actually gonna be pretty awesome. There's the timer.
Echo, stop.
And I got a really good feeling about this one. Especially for one of their indie pack-ins. That's why I think I recognize this. I feel like I almost bought it at a convention or something. Of course, I don't have the horror pack version, or I would not have had the horror pack version, but now I do. All right, well, let me know. What do you all think? Have you seen all these movies? What is your favorite of the ones you have seen? What do you think is better, Gremlins or Gremlins 2? How much money would you pay for a Gremlins 3? All of it. That's the answer. All of it. All of it. How much money? All of it. Comment below.
That would not been rebooted yet.
I know how, Mary said, how in the hell has that not been rebooted yet? She's right. And maybe not even a reboot. That could just take not even a legacy sequel. People would be on board for just give us a straight freaking Goonies 3 sequel. Or Goonies 3. Well, yeah, give us Goonies 3 as well. We don't need Goonies 2. But Gremlins 3. Yeah, or even animated Gremlins. I feel like they've tried to reboot it. Anyways, this is not a vlog. I don't need to go off on all that tangent. Comment below, let me know. Can't wait to hear what you have to say. And of course, as always, you can click the thumbs up button. Give me the good old thumb of encouragement, as I do love to be encouraged. And you know what, before we get out of here, I got to show off a Christmas find I did today. I was shopping for everybody else, and I found a couple things for me, but one thing I have to bring up, because I had no idea this existed. And boy, I about danced the jig right when I entered the store and saw this. And yo, check it out. The VFW score on vinyl, yo. And it is from Half Price Books, but it's still sealed. You can tell it's never been opened, actually. Any score to a Joe Begos film I need. I had no idea these were on vinyl. Are any of his other scores on vinyl? Can I have them? Will you send them to me for Christmas next year? I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to throw a little extra. Because Christmas Bloody Christmas is mwah, 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 chef's motherfucking kiss. All right. Yeah, fucking yeah. We're talking about Christmas fucking bloody fucking Christmas. Some fuckers talk like that when we fucking get fucking drunk and hang out with our fucking friends and get passionate about the fucking movies we love, like how fucking great Joe Begos movies are, because they're fucking amazing, and no one is gonna tell me fucking different. Okay, for those of you that don't know, for some reason, a lot of people in horror groups are upset how much they curse in Joe Begos films. The fuck? All right. Anyways, comment, click the thumbs up button, give me the thumb encouragement. If you do love to be encouraged, Merry Christmas. I'm having fun. We will get through this. We will get through this together. Yeah. And whatever you celebrate, this is what I do. It's not even a religion thing. It's just, that's what I grew up on, the consumerism of Christmas. I've made it more than that now, but yeah. So speaking of consumerism, if you wanna, Christmas is gone by the time this video comes out. But what is with? Oh yeah, I had a hat on earlier. It was cold and I had to go outside. Hey, what's up? Yo, bro, come on, bro. We gotta like get on our fucking Avatar water things, bro. Check out my music anywhere you listen to music. Look up Eric Butts, try a song or two. See what you think. You might like it. Pop punk 90s style. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Got new stuff coming soon. Also, I'm making some short films myself next year. So if you want to check out some of my previous filmmaking work or know where to find that stuff when it eventually happens late in the year, you can go to my out-of-date website, TheEricButts.com. See what you think. Maybe one of these days I'll make that into something more. And let's do the Harry Potter. Should we go for Harry Potter? But Hermione. As always, there's a lot more content and links, the ways to support the channel and the links below. Just click that see more button to see more butts. Thank you, Horror Pack. This is a great one. And again, as long as you send them, I'll be happy to have them. And Horror Pack, in case you're wondering, because I do have a lot of these, instead of like, I'm not just gonna take them and sell them or something because I don't need duplicates a lot of the times. I have decided if you're aware, like Joe Bob Briggs, The Last Drive-In, and the Mutant Family, and there's now like local Mutant Fam meetups and all that, I'm gonna start taking my extras and just giving them to my Mutant Family friends because there's no one in the world that's gonna appreciate them more than those folks. So, all right, there you go. Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays, Merry Kwanzaa. That's what we celebrate on my home planet. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna watch some more stuff. We'll see you all later.